Welcome to our International Student Brief program. Today, we're diving into some eye-opening news in the world of higher education. A recent study reveals that nearly 3 out of 4 universities in England are predicted to be in deficit by the next academic year due to declining student numbers and a staggering drop in income. This spells a challenging future for many institutions, especially the smaller ones, as they grapple with the need for urgent action to ensure long-term sustainability. In Australia, the situation is heating up as Sydney universities have decided to halt new applications from foreign students due to a massive surge in demand. With record numbers of international applicants, institutions like the University of NSW are taking preemptive measures to avoid exceeding their enrollment caps. This decision comes as the government imposes penalties on universities that exceed their limits, making it a mad rush to manage student admissions effectively. Lastly, we're discussing the pressing issue of intergenerational unfairness in the UK. Young voters are feeling betrayed by Labour's policies, facing exorbitant tax rates and rising student fees that hinder their ambitions. Many graduates are struggling to find suitable jobs, and with the cost of living soaring, the financial burden is heavier than ever for young households. It's a tough landscape for today's youth, and the conversation about fair loan terms and support continues to be critical. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. Telegraph reports a concerning forecast from the Office for Students, OFS, which indicates that nearly 3/4 of higher education institutions in the UK could face financial deficits by the next academic year. This alarming prediction stems from a decline in student enrollment, with a projected £3.4 billion drop in net annual income across the sector. The situation is exacerbated by the recent announcement of increased tuition fees to £9,535, aimed at safeguarding the future of higher education. The OFS's analysis reveals a significant shortfall in both UK and international student recruitment, with a notable 10% decrease in UK undergraduate entrants and a staggering 23% drop in non-UK entrants compared to previous forecasts. The report emphasizes that many universities, particularly smaller and specialist institutions, must take urgent steps to ensure their long-term sustainability amidst these challenges. The Sydney Morning Herald highlights the unprecedented measures taken by Sydney universities in response to a surge in international student applications. With a record influx of foreign students, institutions like the University of NSW have paused new international applications for 2025 to avoid exceeding their enrollment caps. This decision comes ahead of proposed legislation that would impose strict penalties on universities that surpass their limits. Despite potential revenue losses from reduced foreign student numbers, the University of NSW maintains a strong financial position, having managed its resources effectively. The influx of students is underscored by recent statistics showing significant increases in visa approvals for Chinese students, while applications from other countries face scrutiny. The International Education Association of Australia has called for a buffer on enrollment caps to account for the unpredictability of student attendance. In another piece from the Telegraph, the impact of rising student fees and tax burdens on young voters is brought to light, revealing a troubling trend of intergenerational unfairness. With annual fees increasing to £9,535, young graduates are confronted with marginal tax rates that can soar as high as 71% for those with higher education qualifications. The financial strain is compounded by rising living costs, with young households dedicating a staggering 70% of their weekly expenditure to essentials. The analysis suggests that while the government continues to prioritize support for older generations, young people are left to bear the brunt of economic challenges, including stagnant wages and increased taxation. This situation raises questions about the long-term implications for young voters who overwhelmingly supported the current government, only to find themselves facing policies that seem to neglect their financial well-being. Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports on the lingering effects of the Keating government's Student Financial Supplement Scheme, which has left approximately 140,000 Australians grappling with a staggering $2.1 billion in debt. This scheme, operational from 1993 to 2003, allowed students on welfare to trade their entitlements for loans, effectively doubling their financial obligations without fully understanding the long-term consequences. Dee Marshman, who was just 17 when she entered the scheme, recalls the desperate circumstances that led her to accept a $34,000 loan, a decision she now regrets as she continues to struggle with an $18,000 debt nearly 3 decades later. Many former participants, like Deb Woodbridge, who saw her debt peak at $42,000, are now advocating for the complete cancellation of this debt, feeling misled and burdened by a system that has perpetuated financial hardship. Legal action is being considered by over 350 individuals, with experts arguing that the government and banks failed to provide adequate information about the terms of the loans. Despite calls for debt forgiveness amid rising living costs, the Albanese government remains resistant, maintaining that repayments are based on income capacity rather than the total debt amount. Marshman emphasizes the urgent need for government intervention to prevent ongoing generational poverty. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning coffee, fresh off the press. Reading headlines, feeling blessed. World keeps turning, stories unfold. Every moment news gets told. Flipping channels, clicking tabs, feeding my mind's hunger grabs. Facts and figures, images bright. News keeps rolling day and night. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough. Learning about the world, yeah, it's my stuff. Headlines and headlines, stories are full. Knowledge is power, truth to behold. Politics, science, sports, and art. Every story plays its part. Global voices, voices near. Every headline loud and clear. Need the latest, got to know. Never stopping, always go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks in the dark. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough. Learning about the world, yeah, it's my stuff. Headlines and headlines, stories are full. Knowledge is power, truth to behold. Need the latest, got to know. Never stopping, always go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks in the dawn. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough.